neither he nor she. It can't be found, but it's all around, quite close to you and me. Magic mouse, magic mouse. It's the one thing that I think of every day. Oh, magic mouse, magic, magic mouse. Won't you please come to my home with me and stay? When you see a twinkle in an eye or a smile upon a face, you'll know that the magic mouse has come and left some happiness in its place. And when you find a penny on the street, you'll know that it's been there. For the magic mouse leaves signs about as it travels through the air. Magic mouse, magic mouse. It's the one thing that I think of every day. Oh, magic mouse, magic, magic mouse. Won't you please come to my home with me and stay? It's a thread so fine it can't be seen, yet so strong it can't break. It makes all as one just for the fun, like ingredients of cake. And on Earth or Mars or Jupiter, its magic still remains. For the magic mouse is everywhere, so don't.
I didn't realize you were here. It's bedtime story time. I'd like you to meet my friend Mabel here, and we're here to tell you a bedtime story. It's time for a story about the magic mouse. As you know that, well, maybe you don't, but it all started a long, long time ago. It was in a faraway place, close to the hearts of those knowing love, and there was a village called Angelville. Now, if you were going too fast or happened to sneeze, you wouldn't see it. No, you wouldn't. Angelville was just a tiny speck of a place, a desert oasis with simple wooden and adobe houses and dirt roads. But the light which shone from Angelville, well, it was so strong, it could be seen as far away as the farthest star. And the light could be seen. Oh, it was like the sparkle tips of the heavens. It was so magnificent. And the only way you could get to Angelville was to find the secret path which led to the center of everything. Now, some people say that this path was created by a tiny, oh, so tiny glob of beautiful, gentle energy which lived high, high, high up in the heavens above Angelville. It had no shape nor any form. It was just it. Yet, wherever it went, it brought love, peace, happiness, harmony, and understanding. Then one day, from that faraway place, there came a cry for help. It was from all of the children of Angelville who had gathered in a circle and looked up to the heavens and said, "Please, whoever you are, whatever you are, will you come to our village? Will you come to Angelville so that we may better understand the light of your love?" "Why, of course I'll come. Well, what should I look like? Should I look like you, or you, or you, or who?" "We don't know the doesn't make any difference. Just come. All right, then, let me think. I know. I'll come as a large, gigantic bird-like creature. So large as to frighten all beings into doing what I want. Just so your wish can be. Oh, no, the children said. You can't get what you want by frightening people. If you want someone to do something, you must be loving and caring and sharing. Don't be large and mean, they said. Be small. Be so tiny that no one will ever see you. They'll only feel you. Be a mouse. Be a magic mouse. And in the snapping of a finger and the twinkling of an eye, Magic Mouse arrived in Angelville. But the children had made a horrid mistake. They had asked Mouse to be so small so as never ever to be seen. And no one could tell if Mouse were a boy or a girl. Mouse said it makes no difference. Then how can we tell you're about? Mouse said, I shall leave pennies about. If ever you find a penny and you pick it up and you press it to your head and the penny stays, you'll know that Magic Mouse has left it. And with this penny, you can take it at night and put it under your pillow. And in the morning, when you awaken, the penny will still be there. But what will be gone will be all your frightening and scary dreams. And they may not return unless you allow them. So if you have a Magic Mouse penny and you don't allow a frightening and scary dream, you'll be protected. Well, the children were so excited, they rushed about the village shouting, Magic Mouse is here! Magic Mouse is here! Our troubles are over! Our troubles are over! Magic Mouse is here! And Mouse just looked at them and smiled and said, perhaps when they understand that sunshine has nothing to do with the weather. But the children wanted to have a party to celebrate the arrival of Magic Mouse. It's too late, said Mother Amal. Have your party tomorrow. Well, it's not every day a Magic Mouse comes. But Mother Amal was adamant. She was firm. She would not give in. And that's our story for today. Tune in tomorrow and find out if they had their time stop party. Thank you.
Across this big wide world, there are lots of boys and lots of girls with different eyes and different noses, different hair and different clothes. It's a magical thing, it's a wonderful game. We all look different, but we're all the same. Now the differences are great and the differences are small, but that's just part of the beauty of it all. We're all like notes that make up a song. We need everybody, so come on, sing along. Hello. Get along, they say the heck with the rest. So they go their own way and they do their own thing, but the song sounds weak when it's time for them to sing. But now you gather up folks from all kinds of places with different ways of talking and different color faces. There's something special each one brings along, and when they all sing together, now you really got a song. Hello. Hola. Look around, there's all kinds of kids that live in your town. Maybe black, maybe white, maybe rich, maybe poor. You got to get to know them all, that's what friends are for. Cause the differences are great and the differences are small, but that's That's just part of the beauty of it all. We're all like notes that make up a song. We need everybody, so come on, sing along. Hello, hola, jumbo, jumbo, mueve mundo más. Hello, hola, jumbo, jumbo, mueve mundo más. Hello, hola, jumbo, jumbo, mueve.
Trees. Trees is my quibble for the day. Let me tell you about trees. Trees grow everywhere. Trees grow everywhere but in the desert. And why don't they? Because cactus grow there and crowd them out. But trees are very important. Trees make oxygen. Trees make up the Amazon rainforest, without which we could not breathe. But trees could be nasty too. Have you ever run into one? Huh? Have you ever climbed one and fallen out? Well, that's your fault. It's not the tree's fault. Why blame it on the tree? Now, trees grow, and from trees, you make paper. Paper is something that you use for homework, and we all know about homework, don't we? It's stupid, but it's not the tree's fault, and that's my quibble for the day.
Hi, and welcome to Silicon Kids. I'm Liz.
I'm Deborah.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Yanni.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. On today's show,
Annie interviews Janet Evans, who won 3 gold medals in swimming at the 1988 Olympics. Then Silicon Kids visits the soon-to-open Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose and gets a behind-the-scenes peek of some of the exhibits being constructed by its creators. And Liz interviews Jeff Gallion, a local teenager who is a professional monster makeup artist.
hope you enjoy our show.
Hi, I'm Annie with Silicon Kids at Stanford University today. With me today, Janet Evans, who won 3 gold medals at the 1988 Olympics. Hi, Janet.
Hi.
What are some of the events you won at the 1988 Olympics?
I won medals in the 400 and 800 meter freestyle and 400 individual medley.
What are some of your last impressions of the Olympics?
I really enjoyed Seoul. I enjoyed meeting all the people and making all the friends.
Do you plan to attend the 1992 Olympics?
I'd really like to attend the 1992 Olympics, but I'm not sure. You have to take it one step at a time and see how it goes. So,
I understand you turned down $2 million of endorsements. I really admire you for that, but what made you do something like that?
There were some endorsement offers when I got back, but I really swim because I enjoy swimming. And I just wanted to do it and not take any money because I would have forfeited my college eligibility, and I really wanted to swim in college.
What are your majors here at Stanford?
I want to major in communications.
Are you planning to go into that field after you retire from swimming?
I'd like to go into something with broadcasting or public relations, yes.
What's your typical day here at Stanford?
I have morning workout from 6 to 8. I have classes from 9 to 12. And then I have workout again from 2:30 to 5:30, and then I'm done.
Or do you think you ever over-practice? I mean, that's a lot of practice time.
No, it's worth it. There's a lot of training, but that's how you get better.
Do you believe in luck and anything like that?
No, I just believe in hard work.
What gives you the extra push?
I just really want to do it. If I'm going to spend my time doing it, I want to do really well at it.
How do you keep your life running so smoothly with all the public demands and practice and schoolwork?
Well, it's kind of easy because I just take everything one step at a time. And when I'm at the swimming pool, I'm at the swimming pool working out. But other than that, you know, I'm just another student trying to get through college. So,
what do you do for fun and relaxation?
I like to be with my friends. I like to go shopping. I like to be with my family.
Okay. When you become a mother and have kids, will you train them in any type of sport to compete at Olympic levels?
Well, it just depends on what they want to do. It's their choice, because that's how my parents have always been to me. So.
If you could do one thing at this moment, what would you do, basically?
At this moment, keep swimming, I guess. I don't know. I really like to.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. This is Annie with Silicon Kids. I would like to thank Janet for taking the time out with us, even though she had the flu.
A few months ago, before its building was completed, the Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose invited some youngsters to a warehouse to check out some of the planned exhibits. And Silicon Kids was there. Recently, Silicon Kids visited the soon-to-open Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose and got a behind-the-scenes peek at some of the exhibits being constructed by its creators.
Hi, I'm Tom Nielsen, and I work here at the Children's Discovery Museum as the electronics developer. And a lot of our exhibits that we're developing now have computers or electronic circuits that control them, and that's the sort of work that I take care of. Although I'm not always sure that the word work is the best word to describe what I do, it's really a lot of fun to have a job here at the museum, because a lot of what you do all day long is just play with ideas that you think are going to be fun for other people to come and try out. So a few of the exhibits I've been working on to get ready for you are an ambulance that you'll be able to climb in and turn the siren on and turn the lights on, a balance board that allows you to play around with your sense of balance, and see if you can keep the little man there long enough to hear a song. We'll be working on some traffic lights that you can control and play around with the rhythms of traffic and see how the computers actually control the sequence of the traffic lights on a city street. And lots of other ideas that we're still working on now. We're not sure exactly what we're going to be doing. What we need are some kids to come here and try our stuff out and see if what we're doing is what kids like to do. Because until the kids get here, we don't really know if what we're working on is enough fun. And that's, I think, the major ingredient we're trying to put into our work here is to make it fun for everybody.
Hi, I'm Janet, and I'm the exhibit developer of this area called Step Into the Past. In this area, we're showing what Santa Clara Valley used to be like when it was known as the Valley of Heart's Delight. In here, we're going to have a lot of things that were very common at one time that are strange now for children, like rug beaters, hand scrub boards and hand wringers, clothesline with clothespins. We also have our tank house, and the children can go up there and see what it was like and get a different view from the tank house. And another thing that we wanted portrayed here is when Santa Clara Valley had a lot of small family farms, and hopefully we will show that here.
I'm Jeff Taylor. I'm co-developer along with Joe Ruggiero in developing this mechanical ATM machine. Small object. This is the main hopper. This is the full tennis ball.
Come visit the museum and learn how to use Jeff's ATM bank machine.
My name is Mary Simon, and this is the Doodad Dump. It's a part of the Children's Museum where children can come into the room here and there'll be many materials available to them. These materials are all industrial discards that I've collected. So, for example, the sign companies throw away little pieces of vinyl stickers that the children can use as stickers. And there's many different other different types of material, pieces of sponge. So I collect it all together, and the children can come into the room and they can build sculptures with it. They can do whatever they want to with the art material. And there'll be glue guns and white glue available to stick it all together, and the children can take home what they make.
Here is Kuhn, the creator of Waterworks. Youngsters will be able to pump water from a well by hand and take the water through a cycle like the Water District does.
The well's going to be over here. Then it's going to come, the water is going to be pumped up using the bicycle pedal power. We'll go through this series of filters, and then from there go to this manifold of valves where kids will be able to distribute the water to various parts of the rest of the exhibit.
Hi, I'm Christy May. I'm the developer of the multicultural exhibit, which is called Around the World, Around the Corner. And in this room, which is a large room, and it's funded by Apple Computer, we're developing an exhibit based on two cultures, the Ohlone Indian culture and the Mexican culture. And corn is the special focus of our exhibit. We will hope that the children will come here and make their own culture, make it their room and their environment in which they determine what's important and what's relevant. Hopefully the children will gain appreciation of the Indian cultures and the accomplishments through this experience, interacting with nature and with other children, and at the same time in a museum environment that allows play and exploration with natural materials.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd and 3rd, 1990 for the grand opening of the Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose. It is going to be a great celebration. There will be free tours of the museum and other exciting activities that weekend. After the weekend, there will be a charge for the museum. So come and take a hand in the fun on June 2nd and 3rd, or come any other time after that and put your hands on the great exhibits.
Hi, I'm Liz from Silicon Kids, and I'm here with Jeff Gallion, a semi-professional makeup artist. Hello, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. There's something on my shoulder here. Would you like to explain exactly what it is?
This is a project that I've got in the works right now. It's a duplicate of an effect from Fright Night 2, which will be coming out this fall sometime. A guy at a comic book shop enjoyed the picture in Fangoria so much that he asked me to try to duplicate it. So this is the head. I've got started on the sculpture. This is all clay on here on top of a plastic skull. First thing I did after I assembled it was I put the teeth in and then put the acrylic on for the gums, and painted up the teeth with tooth enamel to make them look kind of dead and yucky. And I'm working on the sculpture, so when it's finished it should look pretty horrendous.
It looks like that you know exactly what you're doing. How long have you been working and doing the makeup and the effects?
I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years.
So it's not a hobby, it's more of just like a work, or?
Yeah, that's what I want to do professionally. It's a job, it's an adventure, to be perfectly cliched about it. It's a lot of hard work, because a lot of people really don't realize how much goes into it, the sculpture, the mold making, the actual application of the things, mixing up the foam for the foam latex appliances. It can be pretty difficult sometimes.
So it's not an inexpensive way of training for a job either, I would suppose.
No, it's not. Everything that you see behind you here in my work area is altogether probably about $400 to $450 worth of makeup and supplies.
That is getting expensive.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not something that everyone would want to do for a hobby.
No.
Have you won any awards for your work in?
Yes, I have.
Effects?
I've won 2 awards from the Organization of Special Effects Makeup Artists. One for a makeup I did, which is very similar to the things seen in V, which I'm sure a lot of people know what that is. And another one for an eyeball hanging out.
Oh, yuck. How did you get awards for these effects?
Every 3 months, the Organization of Special Effects Makeup Artists has a makeup contest, and all the members of the organization are automatically enrolled in the contest, provided you send in photos.
Jeff, how did you get involved in effects?
When I was a freshman at Lynbrook High School, I took a drama class, and the first couple of productions that we did, one of the other actors had to do my makeup for me because I knew absolutely nothing at all about even the most basic theatrical makeups. So after a couple of nights of that, I decided it would probably be a good idea for me to learn how to do my own makeup, so that I wouldn't have to bog the other actors down with, gee, he has to have us do his makeup for him, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'd always been fascinated by the work of Rob Bottin, Rick Baker, Dick Smith, all of them. I saw An American Werewolf in London, one of Baker's films. He won his first Academy Award for that, and I just flipped out. I said, wow, how did they do that? You know, it was just, the transformation scene was absolutely incredible. And I had always been trying to find out how these things were done. I would read articles about it and whatever I could get my hands on about how they were done. But at the time, I had no interest in doing it myself. I just wanted to know how it was done. Eventually, when I got into the drama class, I got into doing it myself, and I liked the theatrical work enough that I decided to start doing the effects kind of stuff, and I'm working on trying to get into films.
So who's your friend here?
This is the Deadhead. This is what happens when Mom gets mad at the dinner table. You see, my brother cracked one too many smart jokes, and my mother hit him upside the head, and this is what's left of him. No, seriously, this was a test head that I had left over from doing another effect that I doctored up, put a little red and a little green in there, and put some yucky stuff in various places so that would look like it had been severed, chopped off, whatever you want to call it.
How did you manage to do all the effects besides the yucky stuff? What is that yucky stuff?
This is just leftover foam latex bits that I pulled out of a pan and threw into the head. This head itself was it was originally a clay sculpture, which was done over a styrofoam wig block.
Oh.
And once I had it sculpted, I made molds of it and mixed up some foam latex, which is a fairly simple process once you get used to it. And once that gelled in the molds, I put it in the oven to cure it and pulled this thing out. Minus the coloring, of course. Then I did all the coloring with special makeups.
Yeah.
The blood?
Yeah.
That's caro syrup and food coloring. Corn syrup.
Ah. Is that what they normally do when they use blood?
Yeah, this is Dick Smith's formula that I got directly from him, actually. It's for every pint of the corn syrup, you add 1 ounce of red and 1 or 2 tablespoons of yellow, and some various other things to make it flow better, to make it thinner.
So when somebody sees a horror film and they see like that stuff spurting all over the place, and that's just corn syrup?
Yeah, it's just corn syrup with some food color added to it.
Well, how do they make it spurt out?
Well, we have these wonderful things called blood pumps that basically all this is a Hudson sprayer with some of this plastic tubing attached, that when the tubing is placed under an appliance, let's say a cut throat appliance, you'd have another latex bladder underneath there, and the tubing would be attached over the shoulder, so it would be sticking in roughly about here. And then the bladder would come around here, and it would have several holes in it, and then there would be the foam latex cut throat appliance applied over that. And that would have a hole that was already sculpted into it. The weapon, which would be dull, of course, it wouldn't be able to cut through. Wouldn't be able to cut through a soft banana, okay? Would be placed inside that cut, and then on a cue from the director, it would be pulled through, and the makeup artist would then start pumping with the pump, and the blood would then, that would give the effect of the blood spurting out of a fresh wound.
Ah, okay, that seems easier than than it probably is.
Yeah, there's, well, one common misconception about the makeup effects is that it is easy. A lot of people really do not have any idea at all of all the work that has to go into it, the sculpture, the mold making. Just mixing up the foam latex in itself can be a rather complex task for some people. There's a lot of technical work that goes into it, especially for mechanicals such as for Harry and the Hendersons, which Rick Baker just won his 3rd Academy Award for the Bigfoot creature in the Harry and the Hendersons. All the facial movements of that creature were done radio control.
That sounds really difficult.
I have no idea how to rig a radio control facial movement mechanism yet. I'm planning on asking Mr. Baker about that, and I may ask Dick Smith about it too.
So this is something that you would like to do as a career?
Definitely, definitely. It's very rewarding. One of the most incredibly fun things to do is to put in all the work on the project, and then a year later comes the reward. You go into the theater and you sit down just as part of the audience, and you get this reaction to the makeups. And the best reaction there is How did they do that? They can't do that. Because if someone says, wow, neat makeup, then obviously, you know, you haven't been able to sell it quite right. But if someone says, wow, how did they do that? Then it's like, I did it. I made it. It's great.
So what exactly would you be interested in doing? More of like the spurting blood or what exactly?
I don't want to do a lot of the splatter stuff. I don't want to be called the next Tom Savini. I would like to be known as the next Dick Smith or the next Rick Baker. I specialize in character work. That's what I find the most rewarding, because those are the kinds of makeups that people don't notice.
Yeah.
And if you don't notice it, then the makeup artist has really done his job. But I'm also realistic about it. I know that the blood and guts, the splatter stuff, is a major part of the industry these days, which is really sad. We have all these stock and slash films coming out, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, which I personally like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but you know, you have these Friday the 13th left and right, you know, people getting killed, about 60 or 70 people a film get wasted just as an excuse to show some blood, because that's what audiences want to see. Personally, I would like to see more of a return to the fantasy kinds of things like American Werewolf in London or Scanners or Videodrome. Those were both excellent films.
Jeff, I see you're caught red-handed.
Well, actually, this hand is left over from Little Shop of Horrors, which I did last August with Cupertino Summer Rep. And this is Oren Scrivello, DDS. What's left of him after Audrey 2 gets to him, well, actually, after Seymour gets to him, chops him up, feeds him to the plant. All this stuff you see hanging out the wrist here is sort of like Tom Savini's chunks of flesh that he used in Day of the Dead. Whenever a head was ripped off or people got bit or something, they'd put this in and it would be like other tissue ripping apart and stuff. It's really gross. And this would be attached to the side of the bucket that Seymour pulled it out of, and he would pull on that and it would go rip, and it was really sick. And but the audiences loved it. And so this was used, like I said, in Little Shop of Horrors, which was fun. And I also have another friend down here.
Ah. Who's this one?
This is the Devil from The Devil and Daniel Webster. And this guy, let me get his eyes in alignment here, sort of. Well, that'll have to do. This guy was done, one of my teachers, one of his lit classes, was reading the story, The Devil and Daniel Webster, and he asked me if I could make him a head of Mr. Scratch. So that's what I did. Sculpted the whole thing, used the same techniques that I did for the dead head. And old Scratch here, I put teeth in him and put a beard on, and he has age spots that you can see on his skin. And eyebrows and little eyeballs here.
How long does it take you on average to make one of these sculptures?
For this particular head, I spent 6 hours on the sculpture and probably a total of about 60 hours on the whole thing, including laying the hair on, punching some of it in, eyebrows, that kind of thing, various things, and that also includes an all-night session on the coloring. The hair in the back is getting kind of messed up, but it still looks pretty good. So for something like this, around 60 hours or so. Some effects can be done like on set in just a couple of hours.
What about Deadhead? How long did that one take?
Deadhead was about probably 40 hours.
That looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And thank you. This has been Liz for Silicon Kids.
Since this interview, Jeff has graduated from Lynbrook High School and now attends De Anza College and is pursuing his career as a professional makeup artist.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please join us next time here on Silicon Kids.
Take a little intermission, watch a little Teddy Vision, and the firstest thing that we will do is watch a little Cockyboo. Oh, fiddle-dee-dee, whoop-de-doo, the one and only Cockyboo. In overalls and a big top hat, lots to say about this and that. He goes bibbidi-bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, any way that you want to. And don't forget Miss Muldoon, Cockyboo to your own tune. You go cockadee-wackadee-bobbidi-boo, any way that you want to. Fiddle-dee-dee, whoop-de-doo, the one and only Cockyboo. Take it away.
Hi there, welcome to the history lesson, and look who I found, kids. I found our first president, George Washington, right there on the $1 bill. And I picked up this dollar bill and I looked at it and I said, if only George Washington could really be here to give us some of his wisdom. And I looked at the dollar bill and, Mr. President, surprise him, tell him what you can do.
I said,
See?
Hello there, Cockyboo. How you doing there? Nice to be here. Nice to talk with you today.
Look at that. George Washington's talking to Cockyboo. Tell me, how does it feel to be as old as you are and still as you sound so good?
Well, I sound good. I got a few pains in my body, a little bit of arthritis, but I'm doing okay. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Tell me, can you help us learn history today?
I'd love to help you learn history. That's what I'm here for.
Well, I got a little confusion. They all talk about the Battle of Bunker Hill. It started the American Revolution, or was one of the main battles in the early days. But I looked in the book and somebody said, it never happened on Bunker Hill. It happened on Breed's Hill. Could you tell us why was that something in intelligence to fool the British, that you changed the name or something? Why did you do that?
We didn't change the name. We just got a little confused, you know? Got a little bit lost there. It happens to the best of us. Even presidents make mistakes. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, we'll talk about mistakes. How about Paul Revere? We know he was a great patriot, wasn't he?
He was a great man, Paul Revere.
But when he got on his horse, he got a couple of little ways up and the British caught him. And he never finished the ride. But when that poem was written about him, it makes it sound like he did it all. How do you feel about that?
I wish somebody wrote nice poems like that about me so I'd be as famous. Actually, I was more famous because I was the first president. But somebody writes a good poem about you, everybody believes it.
Well, tell me, Mr. President, how did you feel about Tom Paine? A lot of people say he was like the intellectual, that means the thinker, who helped make the American Revolution work. And people don't talk about him anymore. Why?
Tom Paine was brilliant, and he was a great thinker. But he was also a pain, if you get what I mean. And that's probably why people don't talk about him. Because he was so bright, people thought he was a pain. Sometimes when people are real smart, other people don't understand them very well, I guess. But it's nice to be smart.
Well, it's kind of sad. Somebody stole his body from a grave in New Rochelle, New York, of all places. And nobody knows where he's buried. It's like he was given to the universe.
That's real strange that someone would steal his body. I'm glad nobody messed with mine.
Well, I hear tell they wanted to put a little 2-inch statue of Tom Paine on top of the Washington Monument with a sign saying, "The real father of our country." You know, that's not funny, is it?
I don't think I'd like that. I'd say that would really be a pain.
Okay. So, Mr. President, I'll see you tomorrow. See you, kids. Mr. President's going to come back tomorrow for the history lesson.
See you, kids, again. Good talking to you.
Okay, now we'll do it. Welcome to Angelville and Magic Mouse Theater time. Hey, today we have a special treat. We have a family, the Hyatt family, and they play some special music, and that's the best of what we can do today because it's marvelous, and you don't want to hear me talk for a while. Let's hear this good old music go. Ready? Here they are. Hi, welcome. This is Cockyboo, your old friend, and you know who I got with me today? My buddy, Elwood. Hey, Elwood.
Hi, Cockyboo, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you are.
I'm doing pretty good myself, yes I am.
Your eyes look pretty clear. You've been getting a lot of sleep?
I've been sleeping like a log. You get it? Sleeping like a log.
Sleeping like a log and you're made of wood. You're funny, you're funny.
I thought it was a pretty good joke.
Say, Elwood.
Yes?
I got a lot on my mind today because I hear tell that some of the kids are sad because their moms and dads are getting a divorce.
A lot of children have talked to me about that. They're very sad because their parents are getting divorced. Yes.
Well, sometimes one of the little girls came over to me yesterday, and she was really sad and crying, and she said, "It's my fault that Mom and Dad are getting divorced." And I didn't think it was her fault. Did you?
It's not her fault.
It's not, right?
It's not the children's fault if their parents get divorced. Dr. C told me that. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Dr. C told you it's not the children's fault that the parents are getting divorced.
That's right. Sometimes children think it's their fault because their parents are having an argument and they yell at the children, and then the kids think it's their fault that the parents get divorced. But it's not the children's fault. No, sirree.
Well, can we make up a song the kids can learn about that? I bet Dr. C must have written a song and taught it to you.
Yeah, he did teach me. How did you know that?
I know Dr. C does that all the time.
He did write a song. You want to hear it?
And let's teach it to the children as well.
Sounds good. Okay.
Ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Take it away.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Not your fault.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Not your fault.
It's not your fault if they divorce.
No.
It's their fault for sure, of course. If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Let's do it again.
Okay. You ready?
Ready.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Not your fault.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Not your fault.
It's not your fault if they divorce. It's their fault for sure, of course. If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
When was that? If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Right.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault.
Right.
Now, what was the next line?
It's not your fault if they divorce.
It's not your fault if they divorce.
It's their fault for sure, of course.
It's their fault for sure, of course.
If your parents get divorced, it's not your fault. You got it.
Well, good. That's a good lesson for today. Let's go into the black hole and play some marbles, shall we?
Black
Bye,
hole
kids.
marbles. Bye,
We're going to the
kids.
black hole now.
Bye,
See ya.
kids.
Ooh la 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 la, ooh la 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 la, ooh la 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 la, music get under my skin. Woo! What was that song? I can't get it out of my head. It's been all day on my
I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree.
I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me, I'd rather be free and live life in simplicity.
I'll go out and find some wood and carve it into something good. I'll find a rock and beat the ground and listen to its beautiful sound.
'Cause I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me, I'd rather be free and live life in simplicity. I'll find some water and some dirt and draw some pictures on my shirt. When my mama catches me, I'll run right out and hug a tree. 'Cause I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me, I'd rather be free and live life in simplicity. I'll find a bug and watch it crawl, climbing slowly up the wall. I'll find some things and I'll make a house and have some tea with Magic Mouse. 'Cause I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me, I'd rather be free and live life in simplicity. I'd rather be me than watch TV. I think I'll go and hug a tree. I'd rather be me, I'd rather be free and live life in simplicity.
Cisco and Howard